This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, protest group Environmental Justice Oti held a rally against the berthing of a phosphate-carrying vessel. A plaque to honour ocean-going rower Fyodor Konyakov has been unveiled in Dunedin. And an American basketball trainer who's worked with some of the sport's greats is in Dunedin hosting a clinic. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Daryl Baser. Protest group Environmental Justice Oti held a rally against the arrival of phosphate-carrying vessel Federal Crimson. Protesters took to the water as the ship approached Ravensbourne Wharf to unload its cargo. You could call it a Dante and Goliath story. Protesters Dante Dawes and Olivia Goldsmith approached the much larger freighter in a two-person kayak on Otago Harbour. The pair are with a handful of protesters from Environmental Justice Oti, who made their presence heard as the Federal Crimson approached Ravensbourne Wharf.
Because I can't sit back and do nothing while a New Zealand company, Ravensbourne, is helping to fund human rights atrocities in Western Sahara.
Protesters say New Zealand's Ravensdown Fertiliser Company is using phosphate sourced from a territory which has been occupied by Morocco since the mid-1970s. Ravensdown says it undertook due diligence with the phosphate supplier and believes the supplier is operating within United Nations guidelines. Environmental Justice Oti wouldn't confirm if any more protests are planned.
Currently we can't disclose any further actions.
There will be more though.
Potentially.
The Federal Crimson is due to move from Ravensbourne Wharf to Beach Street on the 14th before departing Dunedin on December the 17th. In Dunedin, The South Today. Hundreds of graduates and supporters paraded along Dunedin's George Street yesterday, making their way to the Town Hall to be capped. About 750 University of Otago Arts, Music and Theology students were capped in two separate ceremonies. Guest speaker at the first ceremony, Carla Van Zon, urged graduates to be curious and open-minded about new people and experiences. At the second graduation ceremony, Professor Sarah Young challenged the science graduates to contribute back to society. The graduations were just two of many being held across the south this week, with thousands of Otago Polytechnic and SIT students in Invercargill graduating tomorrow. A plaque to honour ocean-going rower Fyodor Konyakov was unveiled in Dunedin earlier this week. The plaque marks a year since the 67-year-old explorer set out to row more than 10,000 kilometres from the Port Chalmers Yacht Club to Cape Horn in South America.
A plaque at Dunedin's Port Chalmers Yacht Club, marking the point where a year ago Russian adventurer Fyodor Konyakov started rowing by himself all the way to South America.
Fyodor's achievement, which to me is one of the great endurance tests of mankind, rowing from here 6,400 nautical miles across to Chile.
Designed by a British company, Konyakov's narrow rowing boat measured just 9 metres long, with cramped sleeping conditions for its crew of one.
Through that he had no support boat. He had all his provisions on board himself, plus water, etc. His boat was rolled over many times in massive seas, 25-foot waves, etc., so you can imagine what he went through.
The epic journey is just the first leg of an attempt to circumnavigate the globe by rowing boat, with 2 legs still to go. But while waiting for the summer to come back to the Southern Ocean, the adventurer has already been working on breaking another world record.
Presently, he is in the process of going up in a hot air balloon, which will go to the highest height ever by a hot air balloon. That's what he's looking at doing.
Konyakov is set to start the second leg of his round-the-world journey this month, rowing from the bottom of South America right past Southern Africa and hopefully arriving at Western Australia. Then he'll wait until next summer to tackle the third leg, with him rowing from Australia back to this plaque in Dunedin, marking where he started his adventure. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A scene reminiscent of Alfred Hitchcock's movie The Birds unfolded on a beach south of Oamaru. Hundreds of seabirds converged on the beach south of Oamaru as small fish wash ashore. A Niwa marine ecologist later identified the fish as pilchards and says it's possible they were chased into shore by larger predatory fish, most likely kahawai. A local charter fisherman says it's not unusual for small fish to beach themselves when they're being chased. An American basketball trainer who works with some of the sport's great players is in Dunedin hosting a clinic. Drew Hanlon may not be a household name to some, but for others he's basketball royalty as he trains players, including Bradley Beal and Joel Embiid. Holding court. NBA training royalty schooling up future Otago basketball stars at a training camp this morning.
They all were kind of, willing to work, and they were all eager to learn. And so those camps make it fun because then you can really expose them to the skills and techniques that it takes for them to improve their game and improve their, wherever they want to use basketball to take them. And so I thought it was a great camp today. Back in the US, Drew Hanlon trains some of the sport's elite players who are at the top of the game. And while some seek improvement, he says some players don't. I'm all about, getting guys better, taking them from point A to point B, which is why I would actually rather train a sixth grader that wants to get better than an NBA player that doesn't. And so for me, it's all about if you want to get better, if you crave improvement, if you're open to criticism, and if you're a good person, we can rock and roll. Darcy Knox plays for Dunedin clubs Mid-City Magic and Otago University. He was among the players at today's camp and says Hanlon taught the basics in an inspirational way.
Footwork, attention to detail on, like little things like efficiency with footwork, things that can, make you quicker really easily. Hanlon is in Dunedin as part of a world tour where he's visiting clubs and sharing his skills at a grassroots level. Following camps in Auckland and today's in Dunedin, he's spotted a New Zealand approach which could hold some players back. I think the biggest thing that I've seen with New Zealand basketball as a whole is a lot of the players love the game, but they have never been pushed to that 100%. It's almost very similar to like the culture of just being very laid back and, kind of going through the motions a little bit. And so it's fun to see when I challenge them and push their buttons the right way, when they start going full speed, mistakes happen, they kind of look over their shoulder, and I'm over there clapping saying, it's okay. Today we're trying to make mistakes because through mistakes is how we make progress. Nursing an injury he picked up in Australia, Drew Hanlon says he's now having a few days rest and relaxing around the south before jetting home and straight back to work with Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers. In Dunedin, the South Today. And still to come on the South Today, we look at a collaboration between a visual artist and a musician, and we see what improvements are being made at Taiaroa Head's Albatross Colony. See you after the break.
It's that time of year when we all spend time with our family and friends. Please enjoy Christmas, but keep an eye out for the people who are struggling and may need a helping hand. My office closes on the 20th of December, opens on the 13th of January. Have a great summer, a great Christmas.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Lana Castle is proud to showcase their new retail space. Simply purchase an annual garden pass for year-round access to the garden, cafe and gift shop, or apply for a host card giving you full access to the castle ballroom, cafe, gift shop and garden when accompanied by a full-paying guest. Check out the website for full terms and conditions.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Merry Christmas everyone. Have a happy and safe new year from everyone at Garrador, Dunedin.
No Maino, welcome back. A multimedia exhibition by Dunedin artists Hannah Joint and Jane Venus has opened at the Ashburton Art Gallery. Hannah Joint creates artworks in a range of media, while Jane Venus is a musician who also makes musical instruments. The collaboration, called Drawn to Sound, is a performance project which tackles the question of how to blend two very different creative processes. Over the 3 days prior to the exhibition's opening, Jane Venus improvised on a range of instruments, while Hannah Joint interpreted the music with large-scale drawings. The Drawn to Sound exhibition runs at Ashburton's Art Gallery until March next year. The international fame of Dunedin's albatross colony is set to soar, with a new video camera streaming live pictures 24 hours a day. Cornell University in the USA is upgrading the camera at Taiaroa Head with night vision, plus the ability to pivot and zoom via remote control.
Charles Eldermere of Cornell University's Lab of Ornithology in New York doing the final tweaks to a new camera the university is installing at Dunedin's Royal Albatross Colony. The camera is locked down to a fixed spot, but can both pan and zoom under remote control.
With a remote camera operator, we're going to be able to bring new close-up views of the birds that weren't possible before, and hopefully be able to be more responsive to when interesting things are happening at the nest.
While the Department of Conservation's Royal Cam has gained more than 3.5 million views of egg hatching and bird rearing since the live stream started in 2016, partnering up with Cornell University taps into an audience of around 20 million annual viewers. And the new camera includes night vision to help view wildlife activity at night, a feature Dock Wildlife Ranger Sharon Broney says will be an asset for staff at the colony.
We'll be able to see more what happens at night when we're not here, any pests and just general activity at the nest. We'll be able to see that as well.
So out here, the kinds of things we'd hope to see are the kinds of things we've seen in other places. Feral cats, rats, mice, dogs sometimes, hogs. These are things that demand a pretty quick response from the people who are caring for the birds in those areas. But then there's a fun side to it as well, where we get to see things that you just don't expect. So whether it's a flying squirrel, landing in the middle of the night on a feeding platform, in upstate New York, or it could be literally two albatrosses walking in and dancing in the middle of the night, you know, and who knew that they even did that necessarily, or what are they doing being up that late and still courting with one another? And those are the kinds of momentary things that I think help people reflect on how similar we are to the birds, you know, how we can really relate to them.
Cornell University has been building up a large network of bird cams across the Americas and now New Zealand, with the goal of making people more aware of birds and their risks from predators, habitat loss and plastic pollution.
These cameras are really built for generating 24 hours worth of engaging, beautiful, high-resolution content that then can be shared with people, even if they're not watching the live cam. The lifespan of what we see on these cameras lives on through all the different channels that we can communicate in, and that's where people are. And so if we can reach them with this content where they are, it's much more likely they come back and they have a good feeling about birds, and maybe the next time a vote comes up or next time they're looking at a plastic bag or something, they make a choice that they're actually taking the birds into mind when they make that choice.
Broney agrees the issue of discarded plastic rubbish is a serious one for seabirds.
Plastic is an increasing problem here, so we'd like to, we really reduce the amount of plastic that's going into the ocean so that they don't pick it up thinking that it's food and feed it to their chicks. In Hawaii, Laysan albatross have died with having too much plastic in their stomach because they don't feel hungry.
Tairoa Head's live albatross cam service was offline this week while being switched over to the new system, but it's now up and running again for the public to view. In Dunedin, the South Today.
And after the break on the South Today, we continue looking back at the year in news and discover what the weather has in store as we slide towards the weekend. See you after the break.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274. If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
In my young life, I've learned how to accept Christmas is a great time for all the family and friends to get together. There's no harm in indulging in a little bit of alcohol and food. What we've got to realise is you need to moderate in everything you do in life, so we don't over-excess anything to create problems in your life. So I wish you a great Happy New Year and a prosperous 2020.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Hi there, it's that time of year again, and we're proud to bring you the coverage of the Santa Parade, starring me and lots of others. Brought to you by the good people at Alex Campbell Menswear.
Thanks for staying with us. In the lead up to Christmas, we're taking a look back at the year in news over the last 12 months. That's what a year is, of course. The middle of winter was marked with the annual Lantern Parade in Dunedin's Octagon, and around 50,000 viewers were drawn to the Winter Light Festival in Queenstown.
June was a month of midwinter celebrations, with hundreds of glowing lanterns floating into Dunedin's Octagon for Dunedin's annual midwinter carnival. Antarctic wonders and wildlife were the theme of this year's event, which saw about 30,000 spectators in attendance. Despite the carnival's success, organisers say it's a constant financial battle, with decisions needing to be made on how to keep the event going. And hundreds of torchbearers paraded down the streets of Queenstown for the opening of the annual Midwinter Festival, with both local and overseas visitors taking part.
We had an awesome time with the torches walking through town. As visitors, it's incredible to experience the culture of Queenstown.
First time to Queenstown, so it's a really great experience.
We didn't know this was going on today, but it was great.
International dance icon Shona Dunlop McTavish was farewelled in Dunedin with dance tributes after she passed away aged 99. Dunedin actress Louise Petherbridge spoke of her decades of friendship with McTavish.
To say thank you to Shona for more than 30 years of love, and also to be uplifted by her and supported by her.
A meth-fueled driver who caused a head-on collision near the Manuka Gorge in 2018 was sent to jail for 2 years and 8 months. He already had previous convictions for drugs and poor driving and admitted being hooked on pee. The driver of the other vehicle spent 79 days in hospital with multiple fractures. The annual Luma Light Festival in Queenstown showcased dozens of light sculptures and live performances, attracting around 50,000 visitors. Around 1,000 riders turned up for this year's Brass Monkey Rally on the exposed Maniototo Plains near Aotearoa. The number was half that from earlier years, which had seen more than 2,000 people taking part. Organisers were disappointed at the turnout and said they'd be lucky to break even, with only a few young people showing interest.
We actually had a young kid just hopped on a bike from the car park and came in. He's just turned 14, this is his 14th birthday, and he's making the effort to come here. And he rode through there, came in on this rally site, and he's going to spend the whole night here with his family.
And organisers said next year's 40th edition of the Brass Monkey Rally may well be the last, with the possibility of going out with a bang with a fireworks display.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Protest group Environmental Justice Oti Poti held a spirited rally against the berthing of a phosphate carrying vessel. A plaque to honour ocean-going rower Fyodor Konyakov has been unveiled in Dunedin this week, celebrating his voyage. And an American basketball trainer who works with some of the sport's great players is in Dunedin hosting a clinic inspiring up-and-coming athletes. Time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. We welcome Mr. Craig Page.
Good evening, Daryl. Yeah, we've got a story about some asset sales for the DCC likely to go back on the table next year. CEO Sue Bidrose confirmed today that the sale of some assets or cashing up the Waipori Fund could be considered as part of budget discussions early next year. Part of that discussion is really how the DCC is going to pay for future projects without lumbering the ratepayers. They've got investment portfolios valued at something like $93 million, so there's a bit of money to play with there. It's previously been discussed by councils several times now and has been ruled out, but it's something that causes plenty of debate. It's certainly out there.
Indeed, pretty contentious.
It is indeed. We've got a lovely story about one of Dunedin's legends, Dawn Ibbotson. Celebrated 105th birthday yesterday. She's featured regularly throughout the years in the ODT and really well known around Dunedin. Recently just moved out of her own home to Yvette Williams Retirement Village after breaking an ankle, but doing really well. Celebrated with family and friends today, so we've got a nice story on that. And on the sporting front, the first cricket test between New Zealand and Australia due to start in a few minutes' time, under lights in Perth. Australia won the toss, electing to bat, so it might be a long day for New Zealand. We'll see what happens. We're going to have up-to-date coverage throughout the night on our website and a full wrap in tomorrow's paper. And just quickly, Ian Foster, the new All Black coach, he's a bit of a link to Mosgiel and Tyree College, so we explore that. Went to the Tyree High School back in the 1970s, while his father was working as a minister, Presbyterian minister in the town. Interesting. Steve Hansen, the previous All Black coach, also went to that school as well, so there might be something in the water out there.
Excellent. All that and much more.
Thanks, Daryl.
Thanks, Craig. Time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with the southern view, looking up Otago Harbour from Portsmouth Drive. A cold front brings showers to southern districts tomorrow with southwesterly winds for a time, but milder northwesterlies due to return on Saturday. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport are set for clouds, showers and 18 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim can expect cloudy skies and 23 degrees. Heading down to Canterbury, you'll have some cloudy skies across this area. Kaikoura gets 23 degrees, Christchurch you're due for 24, and Ashburton you're likely to be the warmest on 26. Looking at the southern towns, Vaucluse and the Catlins can both expect decreasing southwesterlies, showers and 15. Lumsden and Gore are in for fresh southwesterlies, showers and 14 degrees. Popping across to central Otago, Wanaka you're set for moderate northwesterlies, a risk of showers at 19. Queenstown expect moderate westerlies, a risk of showers at 18. Alexandra plan for moderate westerlies, some showers and 21. Te Anau you should prepare for fresh southwesterlies, showers and 14 degrees. Across to the northern towns, Timaru you can expect variable winds, high cloud of 19 degrees. Oamaru you're in for decreasing northwesterlies, some cloud and 17. Twizel and Omarama can both expect moderate westerlies, the risk of showers, Twizel 19, Omarama 18. In Dunedin, gusty northeasterlies tonight with showers later, looking at an overnight low of 13, early showers clearing tomorrow and cloud breaking during the afternoon with long sunny periods developing. A high of 16 and a low of 11. Mostly fine and sunny on Saturday with northeasterlies developing, a high of 15 and a low of 9. And at Invercargill, rain tonight with an overnight low of 11 degrees. Rain eases to showers tomorrow, then clearing later in the day, a high of 14 and a low of 9. Sunny periods at first on Saturday, but cloud increases and rain develops later in the day. A high of 16 and a low of 13. And that's all from the South Today team for this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.